So today we've got a mission to design a high-end and super luxurious chocolate brand identity. So for this mission, we'll be saddled with the responsibility of A. Naming the brand, B. Designing the logo and brand identity, and C. Designing product packages. So let's begin. Our objective is to establish a captivating brand identity for an African luxury chocolate company that prides itself on products made out of organically and ethically sourced cocoa. We aim to integrate the essence of rich cultural heritage, premium quality, exquisite flavors, and sustainability into the brand, targeting discerning consumers who prioritize both luxury and environmental consciousness in their chocolate choices. The target audience are affluent consumers with preference for luxury products that aligns with their values of sustainability and organic living. Gift givers looking for upscale, socially responsible gifts for special occasions. So one unique feature of this brand is their ingredient sourcing and the way it connects to their different product variants. So there will be 4 main product variants with star ingredients sourced from 4 different African countries. So our aim is to highlight the diverse and exotic flavors inspired by the African continent. The first variation will be the pure dark chocolate, followed by the peanut bar, an almond bar, and finally a minty chocolate bar. Each star ingredient will be carefully sourced from one of the following countries: Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Tunisia, and South Africa. These countries are renowned as some of the largest global producers of these respective star ingredients for our chocolate bar. The next task is to name the brand. So my naming process is quite straightforward. Initially, I brainstorm a collection of words that resonate with the brand and its narrative. So I weave connections between these words to arrive at a name that encapsulates the brand's essence, while remaining distinctively unique in every aspect. So for this brand, I came up with words like premium, homegrown, locally sourced, exclusivity, high-end, African, nutrient, natural, exotic flavors, dark chocolate, giants, agriculture, organic, sweet, rich, etc. So 3 key concepts caught my attention: the notion of indulgence with sweet treats, the emphasis on local sourcing, and the connection with the earth. Combining these 3 elements to form something distinctive became my next task. After distilling and amalgamating these concepts, I had an idea. What if I explored the translation of sweet and sauce in local dialects? And that was an epiphany. I opted for an Hausa word, kai, for sauce. Hausa is a Chadic language that is spoken by Hausa people in northern parts of Nigeria and some other West African countries, and kuku for sweet, derived from the Baule dialect in Ivory Coast. And with this, I finally arrived at the name Kai Kuku, meaning sweet sauce. With this achievement, we have successfully completed the second phase of our mission. Next up is the logo and brand identity design. So we already know that the product is a high-end chocolate brand, and the target audience is the older generation with sizable income. So our logo and identity design has to appeal to that class. For this project, I was looking out for brands that are related to the target audience: luxury boutique hotels, luxury fashion brands, polo and golf clubs. Yeah, you get the vibe. So you can notice that I was not looking at other chocolate brands to inspire my style. This is because I want my design to completely resonate with the audience I am designing for. Of course, competition analysis and other research is not to be eliminated, as we will still need industry relevance. I prioritize creating a design that aligns closely with our target demographics, preferences, and lifestyle. After thorough research, I compiled a mood board to guide the design process. Armed with my notepad, I began sketching different logo ideas, starting with the letter K, since both words in the brand name start with the letter. I iterated with the letter K, adding some level of complexity on each. And I thought of making a simplistic K with a duplicate facing the opposite side. Then I expanded it by making shapes around the letter, exploring a pentagon, a square, and a circle. The square looks really cool, and I think I will stick with that. Plus, I also see possibilities of exploring this shape or pattern in the actual chocolate bar engraves. I can already see the beautiful and seamless pattern this will make for our brand identity design elements. I headed over to my computer to vectorize the logo. Using the rectangle shape tool, I made a standing stroke for the letter K to serve as a base for the other shape width. And then I made a square and aligned the width of the stroke with the base I drew earlier. And having those shapes, I just kept making duplicates, moving around and rotating to form the entire logo mark. I normally duplicate my shapes before making destructive edits like merging and using the shape builder tool. This will give me something to fall back on should in case I screw up in the process. Yes, we all do. So I expanded the shape and I went in with my shape builder tool while selecting all the shapes to remove the unwanted parts. I selected the letter K using the selection tool, copied and pasted in front using Ctrl or Command F. I rotated the new copy, moved it to the opposite side to complete the logo mark. I did some legibility tests by making multiple copies of the logo with different sizes. This will help me to know if I'm using the appropriate width for the lines and white spaces in the logo. And I think this passed the legibility test pretty well. Next up is selecting fonts and designing the logo type. From this design, it was obvious from the get-go and with our mood board that we will be using an elegant serif font. So I went in and started exploring different serif fonts. One little tip in Adobe Illustrator for selecting fonts is to use the filter function. This will enable you to choose the type and the style of fonts the application is returning in the drop-down. So for this one, I want just serif fonts to be displayed. I will go ahead and now eliminate the font that doesn't feel right in my list. I was able to narrow down to 3. And out of the 3, Fangira is a font that is standing out for me. It's giving me the shapes and the volumes, aligning with the style I have in my head. So we'll go with that font, but that is not all. I just can't slap that text on my logo mark, as that won't give any uniqueness to my logo design. So first thing I do is to convert this text to outline. Of course, you have to make duplicates if you did not take note of the font name. After converting, I ungroup so I can go in and work on each letter individually and independently. So first off, I move the letter A up to align with the top of the K. This will enable me to reduce the spacing between the K and the A, as it appears to be too spaced out. So to fill up the bottom space, I was thinking of making a curvy line from the letter K. So using the line segment tool, I made the curve and refined with the direct selection tool. I adjust the weight of the line and I use the width tool to make one end pointed. I later use the eraser tool to remove the part of the K that will be replaced by the curvy line. I finished up by cleaning the anchor points on the K. Using the direct selection tool, select the points that are unwanted and hit delete. Lastly, I connected the line with the letter K using the direct selection tool. I brought back all the other letters, adjusting the kerning appropriately, and using an horizontal guide, I aligned the top and bottom of all the letters. want to have like a leaf shape on top of the letter I instead of the dots. This will connect well with the organic essence of the brand. So I made one by intercepting two spheres, and using the shape builder tool, I deleted the outer part of the sphere. I did a few refining with the direct selection tool and adjusted the position to sit properly on top of the eye. For the cuckoo test, I just reused the K to maintain some level of consistency with the characters. And I want the U to sit on it like the letter A. But to make that happen without too much adjustment on the curve, I use the direct selection tool to select the points at the top half of the K and move them to the left a notch. This gave adequate space for the U to sit on. Although the letter U looks too long in height, I will reduce the height with the direct selection tool in order not to mess with the shape proportion. For the vertical arrangement of the text, I made the cuckoo text smaller to align well with the Kai text above. I made duplicates for the horizontal version. I tested out the logo mark with the two logo type variation and they all look good. Let's pick colors. I will be utilizing a rich, luxurious color palette inspired by the earth, agriculture, and African landscape, incorporating deep green, dark red, and a golden hue. This color palette will form the base for our package design. So I used the different color variations to represent the various logo mark and logo type configuration. After exploring all the color combination, I made a seamless pattern based on the logo mark. Taking the logo mark and just making duplicates horizontally and vertically will work in most cases. But for this pattern, I want some form of randomness. So I made a duplicate and place on the right, making sure the edges of the line aligns in the middle. Then I rotate. I repeat this action 2 more times to make the base of the pattern. Then I made a pattern automatically using the object pattern maker in Adobe Illustrator. I made 2 different color versions for my swatch. And now we can move on to the most fun part of those projects, designing the product packaging. So going back to the design brief, we were tasked to design a high-end chocolate brand, drawing inspiration from the rich African culture and exotic flavors. And one point we highlighted at the beginning is the ingredient sourcing. And we already know that the 4 product variants, we have star ingredients sourced from 4 major African countries. So how can we connect all of this to make a standout product package design? So from my exploration and brainstorming, I looked out symbolic representation of these 4 African countries: Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Tunisia, and South Africa. Looking at their national coat of arms, I noticed a similar theme throughout. African countries have an animal that symbolizes something to them, and that animal is being represented in their national coat of arms, and this was it for me. So I decided to have each product variation represented by some symbolic animals. So for Ivory Coast, it's an elephant. Nigeria is an eagle. South Africa is a springbok. For Tunisia, I'll be using a camel. So I went on Google to get appropriate vector images for sketching reference. To maintain some level of identity and consistency, I make all the animal vectors like a low polyline art, which align perfectly well with the logo style. I then proceed to use those vectors for the package design. So most times when I do package design, I usually work with something called a die line. A die line serves as a package template that ensures proper layout for a printing product. It's a diagram that shows all the cut lines and the folds of a package in flattened form. This helps to give an idea of the number of faces you'll be designing for in a package. So I'm going for a super clean layout with a large cropped image of the symbolic animal lined in gold by the side and the name of the bar boldly written at the top half. I'm starting with a plain rectangle for the base, designing the minty bar first. I picked the logo and placed it on the top half of the design and gave it a nice golden gradient. This is for illustrative purpose, as the actual product will be printed in gold foiling. Next, I added a crossbar lined in gold and added the name of the bar. So for all the product variants, the name will be boldly written here. I picked the animal vector for this bar, the springbok, and placed by the side, nicely cropped. I made a pattern from the logo pattern base to give the top half some texture as it was looking too plain. Next up, I'll be adding some elements to the base of the design. A short descriptive text, the weight in gram, and the percentage of cocoa present in the chocolate bar. I moved on to the spine design. To keep up the consistency, I am using a gold finish for this side with the name of the bar boldly written. This will give it a unique feel even when stacked on the shelf sideways, and also help with differentiation and identification. Having the front base design ready, I made a duplicate and changed the variant name and other variable elements on each duplicate to form the other product variants. Since this product will be selling to health-conscious individuals, I thought it would be nice to add the no added sugar text on the front descriptive part, alongside the star ingredient sourcing, stating the countries it was sourced from. Finally, I did the back of the package. Adding the nutrition fact, brief product description, ingredients, barcodes, and other symbols. I also repeated the pattern I used on the top half of the front face here. And using a package designer, I made some mock-ups for the bar and also the actual chocolate bar engrave with Photoshop. Thank you for staying to the end. You can share your thoughts on the design below on the comment section. Do like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you're new for more insightful design content.